and here's where the guy lost me. Something intimate happened, quote unquote, according to this guy. What
does that mean?
Why would you? So like this went from an investigation to now I'm going to say some ridiculous shit to like out the guy. Like why would you do that?
Yeah, that was it. The whole thing is
Like,
weird. I don't.
That doesn't sound like there's nothing that even has ever been suggested that he's bi or gay.
Nothing. But I also think like you're talking about a drug deal and now you're going to be like, oh yeah, I hooked up with the dude.
Welcome to the Hollywood Raw YouTube page, guys. We're happy to have you here. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave us comments, do all the stuff.
What are you waiting for? Let's go. I got a drug addiction to feed.
Welcome to the Hollywood Raw podcast. My name is Adam Glyn. Over there is Dax Holt. We are the Hollywood Raw podcast, the number 37 entertainment news podcast in the world. I don't even know what number we are. No, we actually do very well. But Dax is over there. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. I'm excited about our guest today, who, if you are watching on YouTube, you can see her sitting there with her cute little dog, Natasha Lustig, who is blowing up on TikTok. She is joining us today to talk all about kind of what's going on in pop culture, about her TikTok, and we're going to get into that. But Adam, how was your weekend, buddy?
Weekend was good. I'm really busy the next few weeks. Well, yeah, like the rest of the month is kind of crazy. I could have went for The Rock today, but to be honest with you, The Rock is he's so guarded that it's not fun anymore. Like he used to be kind of like approachable and around, but now like they try to like whenever there's a back door, like the guy never steps foot on a New York City sidewalk. Like they put him in from garage to like, he doesn't see natural light. It's so odd. So it's not fun trying to go for a guy like The Rock. It used to be more fun. But other than that,
but do you blame him? He's one of the most famous people in the entire world.
Yeah, but you know what?
Natasha, tell me one person who's more famous than The Rock.
Oh, Tom Cruise maybe, but The Rock's got like solid PR. Like they don't really like anyone approaching him. They don't like off the cuff anything. He's protected.
Literally the biggest dude, and physically, I would say famous wise too. He's huge.
He is very protected. In fact, like if you're listening to when he was on the Joe Rogan podcast, the interview, which I was so excited for, kind of didn't really get to the points I wanted to get. Like they didn't get really in detail or like some of the stuff that I want to know what exactly he's taking. And I don't say it as a judgment way. I was kind of curious to learn about it in an educational way. And they just didn't get into anything. It was sort of like just missed the mark. But he's just so protected that it's just too much work and not enough fun to go for The Rock anymore. I even tried to get on the red carpet and got denied. And then next week I got to go out west next week. I'm going out. I'll be out in LA next week, Dax. I'll be in your neck of the woods.
Oh yeah.
Doing some meetings.
What are you doing out here?
Showbiz stuff, Dax. That's all I could say. Showbiz stuff.
Can't
Hollywood. Showbiz.
Top secret.
Adam takes his glasses, puts it on his head, and walks into the sunset. No, I got a meeting or two, Dax. I'm also going to the actually I'm pretty excited. I'm going to the Kelly Slater Surf Ranch. Are you familiar with that?
Okay. Yeah, where they like make the waves.
Yeah, it's a pretty long man-made wave. I don't know if Kelly's going to be there. I doubt he'll be there. But I'm going out to Kelly Slater Surf Ranch, so I'm pretty excited for that. But that's like 2.5 hours like north of LA. But it's funny, I looked into it, and if I went another like hour and a half, I could go to Yosemite. Which, have you been to Yosemite?
Yeah, I've been. It's beautiful. It's really cool.
Is it cool? So I'm like debating, like, do I just?
I was there last like Thanksgiving time, so yeah.
Really?
It was a year ago. Yeah.
I'm debating.
This is the time to go because the tourism slows down right before all the snow rolls in, so it's like it's a good time to go.
Is it cold there, or what's the deal?
Yeah, it can get pretty chilly. Yeah, it can get chilly.
Yeah, I'm debating.
Natasha, have you ever been to Yosemite? Have you been to the U.S.? You're over in the UK.
Yeah, I'm over in the UK. I pretty much assumed that the whole of LA was just like some sunset paradise, if I'm honest. Like, but I'm told otherwise.
I love it here. I don't know. There's something just about LA. I hate the traffic, but I love everything else about it. It's just fun. It's a cool city to live in. Everyone around the world knows it, so you don't go anywhere and you're like, they're like, where are you from? LA. Wow, that's so cool.
I mean, I'd go simply for the weather. I'd go simply to upgrade on the
Cannot
weather.
complain. It's basically 75 year round.
Oh,
yeah, it's beautiful.
California is just a cool state. Yeah, California is just a cool state in general. Not like LA itself, I think it's very underwhelming, Dax, to be honest with you. Someone goes there, they think it's Hollywood show, and it is. But if you're not in the business, I don't know if you really kind of connect with it well. And also, everything's sort of obviously spread out, but like you go on like Sunset Boulevard and then you're like, oh, this is it? So it's not like...
Oh, by the way, speaking of LA, Adam, I told you I would tell you how dropping off the trophy went with Harvey.
Oh, how'd that go?
So last week, Natasha, I was telling Adam and the listeners that I had made a 19th anniversary trophy for Harvey Levin over at TMZ.
Okay.
And so I surprised him. I drove up there. I had some people let me into the studios, and then I just walked up to his desk and slapped it down on his desk, and he like looked up. And he was like, what is this? And then realized it was me and basically was like shell shocked. He was like, what are you doing here? And then gave it to him. And he thought it was really cool because it was 19 years worth of TMZ exclusive. So it was all these breaking stories all around the bottom of the trophy.
Have they been around that long?
Yeah, 19 years. It's unbelievable how... And I remember literally day one, the first story that was ever broken. But he thought it was super cool. I posted the video on my IG page if anyone wants to see his shocked reaction. Got to see everyone there, catch up with everyone. It was really fun just to say hi. So anyway, went really well, Adam.
Did they, Dax, did they put it on the show?
They did. They put it on. Yeah, they put it on the regular TV episode, not TMZ Live, but the regular one that night. So Friday night they aired it, and he said, Dax came by, gave us the trophy, blah blah blah, and it made the show.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
Very cool.
Anyway, that went well. But this weekend, I feel like there's so many big stories going on, and I'm thinking we got to get to a couple of these because they're not going to hold necessarily for the Raw rundown, but there are some ones that I feel like we should at least bring up before we get into Natasha. Natasha's actually bringing a game to us. Do you want to go by Tasha, Natasha?
Tasha.
Tasha. Okay.
Tasha, yeah.
Tasha. We'll go with Tasha then. So Tasha has brought us a couple games to play today because her TikTok is all about like couples, divorces, scandalous relationships, all kinds of like pop culture stuff. And I said, what would be really fun? If you can bring us some details about some couples or some relationships, tell us the details. Let's see if we can figure out who you're talking about. It'll allow us to guess, allow the audience to guess. And then, and she was like, cool, down. So we'll get into that in a little bit.
Very cool. All right. Before we get to Tasha, we read reviews on the show. Why do we read them? Is because Dax has a low self-esteem and he needs something to pick him up. So, Dax, do you have a review ready for us?
I do, and I need a self-esteem boost, so I'm very ready for this one. This one comes from Mustang Sally P. It's a 5-star review, straight from Apple Podcasts. It says, best in the biz, Hollywood Raw is my favorite podcast. I'm a pop culture junkie, and you guys keep me informed. Love the Royal Rundown, even though it's Raw Rundown. We'll take Royal as well. Top 10 stories, Adam and Dax. You keep it real and current from Mustang Sally. Thank you, Mustang Sally. Really appreciate it. Are you a big Royal fan, Tasha?
No.
You big into the Royals? Don't care?
I don't. No? Most people don't here. Like my age, most millennials
that is not true. No way.
They're very much a boomer thing, but you guys love them.
We love them.
You guys love them.
I am shocked to hear that. So you're telling me regular citizens in the UK,
well, bear in
not
mind,
as in.
There's a cost of living crisis, and there's a family that receives taxpayer millions, and that's like a sensitive subject in the UK, especially right now. So they're like an iffy topic because we don't really get a choice in them, and a lot of people just kind of pretend not to.
Really? So I just thought because we're all fascinated with the royal family over here.
Yeah, I know.
I just assumed that it was even to another level over in the UK.
No. They very much just like go away.
Do you think that the royal family will eventually go away?
Oh, definitely. I mean, there's no way they survive Gen Z and then Gen Alpha. I think if you modernize them, like, but they're not voted for.
Mhm.
And, you know, that's a big thing right now, isn't it? Everywhere, like democracy and everything. And I just think they're worth billions. So they don't really need the tax. It's not going to work with the younger generations. They're just going to.
People are going to be like, we're not going to pay for this lifestyle for you to have anymore just for a ceremonial position
that they can't do anything about. So, like, you know, if you do something dodgy, nobody could do anything about it. You've just got to sort of. I think if Americans had the royals, you guys would go nuts. You guys would riot because you would never allow it, right? Somebody unvoted.
Well, Dax, do we even like have anything similar to the royals?
We have the Kardashians.
Yeah. Which
where we didn't vote them in, but they're everywhere all the time. So it's the same thing.
Yeah,
it's kind of the same thing.
All right. Obviously, our guest today, we wanted to get. She's a TikTok legend. She's a TikTok legend, and she's doing super well on TikTok. Tasha, thank you.
Can we hold on? I need to talk about something that went down this weekend that I know you guys probably found super fascinating, like me. But we need to get into Leonardo DiCaprio's 50th birthday party.
Oh, God.
Did you
Yeah, we need to get into. Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been the coolest party to be at because literally everyone was there. It was this massive star-studded event in Los Angeles. It was at some private home in the Hollywood Hills. Everyone showed up. Like we expect certain people like Tobey Maguire to be there, but we're talking Jamie Foxx, Bill Maher, Chuck Liddell, Chris Rock, Orlando Bloom, Katy Perry, Steven Spielberg, Paris Hilton, Robin Thicke, Cara Delevingne, Dr. Dre, Tyga, Brad Pitt. I mean, it was just endless amount of people showing up to this thing. Stevie Wonder sang him happy birthday. I wouldn't expect anything less, but it was still crazy to see all these people showing up to the birthday party.
Yeah, I mean, I have to imagine there was no cell phones. I don't know if there was no cell phones allowed inside, or if it's just like a no-brainer, like, hey, don't whip out your cell phone. Don't.
There's no way. There's no way that man let them in his house without an NDA.
Yeah,
there's just 100%. No way.
You think he actually made them sign an NDA?
Oh hell yeah.
Okay, but here's Tasha. You think that Brad Pitt walks in the door and they're like, "We're gonna need you to sign an NDA"?
Something. I mean, Leo's so like psychotically insulated, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't imagine he would allow anybody to accidentally slip up.
I feel like there are certain people that would walk in there that they
maybe
would not
someone
make
like Brad Pitt would probably get, you know, an exemption. But I think people like Katy Perry, there's no way Leonardo DiCaprio is trusting Katy Perry with sort of like.
I feel like Paris walks in there like, sign right now.
Yeah.
Because she would be the one on the dance floor like Instagramming the whole thing.
Definitely.
She would make me nervous if I was him. But there's video that came out. So even if they made people sign, there is still a backgrid video that came out showing the moment that they're singing happy birthday to him. He's on the dance floor. He's got his new girlfriend there. Everyone's surrounding him. How did that video get out into the public?
But you know what everybody says about backgrid, don't you?
What?
Everybody allegedly thinks that backgrid is always straight from the celebrity.
No,
right? That's what they think, though.
I know the guys at Backgrid very well,
but
and trust me, that is not the situation. I could say that they have sources, and they could probably, if someone was there, videotaped and sold it to them on the DL. But they're not getting it directly from the celeb. No way.
Yeah,
but I think safety anyway, isn't it? It was them singing happy birthday to him.
Yeah.
So it wasn't anything crazy.
It wasn't like people doing lines off the pool table or something, but yes, it was the fact though that a video was taken inside the party kind of blew my mind.
So it's funny, Dax. I had a friend who's at the Guy Oseary Oscar party, which is like an infamous party.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I said, do you have to like check in your phones at all? Do you have to, and they said no. They said the people there are so exclusive that it's sort of like known not to whip out your phone or to be the photo guy, like read the room a little bit. And it's funny, I know someone who was at the Michael Rubin White party, and they said the same thing. There was a broadcaster there, a female broadcaster, not a big one that was like, they were surprised even made the list to go into the party, that was walk around going to all the celebrities asking them for photos. And it's just one of those things that you sort of don't do it. Like, again, it's all about reading the room and not being that person. If there's a professional photographer there, they might even be, spoken to beforehand saying, hey, listen, don't take any photos without anybody's consent. Obviously wear a certain outfit so people know that you're the staffer of the party. And that person will supply the photos for the entire party. And probably the host, Leo, or someone there will send them all the photos. So they have it. So they have control of the photos. They know they'll be edited well so everyone looks good. But there's one person I was surprised because I only saw the photos of the celebrities leaving the party. You saw Steven Spielberg, you saw Chris Rock with Guy Oseary, but you saw like Chuck Liddell leaving the party. Where it's like that guy scored the invite of the year. That guy was like, oh my
what a
God,
random person, right?
Right? Like, how did I get this invite? So I don't know. I mean, it's a pretty cool room. You wonder what was going on besides Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, definitely.
Happy birthday. Who DJ'd? Who else performed?
But like,
what kind of liquor? What kind of food?
Does he have any normal friends? Like, does he have like a normal Joe Schmo a friend, or is literally every single one of his friends famous?
No, Dax. Great question. So I see Leo a decent amount, and it's funny. Leo, to me, this is my perspective on Leo. Leo hangs out with regular people, but they're not regular people. These are people that are a little bit of old money, a little bit of they come from some sort of wealth. So they're people, a lot of art sellers, a lot of artsy sort of people, but they're people that could also fund his lifestyle. They could also go along with his lifestyle, not be like counting pennies when it comes to the bill at dinner. So these are people that will say, hey, Leo, come on my plane. Oh, you're going to Ibiza? You want to go to Ibiza? Let's go to Ibiza. And then they'll go, I'll get us a plane. And they'll basically fund his whole life. So they kind of keep up with him, if that makes sense.
Tasha,
that's my theory.
You obviously cover all these relationship stuff. Does Leo keep you pretty busy because he is constantly like dating someone new? Something's going on in his dating life. Is this a person you cover often?
The funny thing is, Leo's not that spoken about on social media. Like, in a meme sort of way, everybody's joking about him. They turn 25 and he's gone. But generally speaking, I think everybody's seen it. They've seen it so many times from Leo that it's just a yawn. They're just bored of it. Like,
rinse and repeat, new young model comes into his
let
life.
us know when you've grown up sort of thing. But it's funny because I looked into his relationships once and it doesn't look like he ends it with them at all. It looks like they literally get to 25 and their brain's cooked. And, most women at 25 are starting to think about what they want to do, careers and everything. And he's very party. He wants to live like he's 21 forever and they get bored.
What's so funny is, like, he does still do the clubbing thing. I can't imagine going to a club. Like, that it is, and I don't feel like I'm that old. I'm not 50, but I feel like if I was in Vegas, the last place I want to be is, like, getting bottle service at a club at this point in my life. I feel like I would look so old and out of place at a club, and he doesn't give that up, but I guess he's Leo, so he can kind of get away with it.
But Dax, in a way, do you think that's what keeps him young? Is him kind of sticking to that lifestyle? Like, he hasn't stopped, so therefore
maybe
you're able to kind of stay young, feel young.
I think it's really different what, like, you guys as guys will see as young, like, in a guy. Because I think when we look at Leo, we don't see him as, like, seeming young at all.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, he kind of does, like you said, he would look like an old man in a club.
Yeah. But he has his hat so low, you wouldn't be able to see him anyway. You wouldn't know that he's an old man because his hat's covering all the way down to his nose. Did you guys see the Grammy nominations? They came out this weekend or a couple days ago. I'm curious. I don't know if you guys, I know Adam loves music, loves talking about this. Tasha, I don't know if you're a big music fan. Obviously, they announced the 2025 Grammy Awards nominations. The most nominations went to Beyoncé. She got 11 nominations. And Kendrick, Charlie XCX, Billie Eilish. So there's a bunch of them. Album of the Year, we've got Andre 3000, Beyoncé, Billie, Chappell, Roan, Charlie XCX. This is I feel like Taylor's in there, Sabrina Carpenter's in there. I feel like this is going to be a tough year. There is so much talent. Who would you guys give this album of the year to? I'm curious.
So album of the year, well, I'll say this. The first thing I'm surprised about, obviously, is it is who'd you said album of the year was Andre 3000.
I said Andre 3000.
Yeah, Andre
Beyonce.
3000. I was surprised because again, here's a guy who's a rapper that went to just doing straight like music with a flute, whatever it is. So it's like really. So I think at the end of the day, we got to remember that these award shows are there to. They're there to make money, to bring in money, and to bring money into the business. So I think some names on there are definitely not deserving of it. I think a guy like Kendrick Lamar is kind of questionable to be on that list. You have to kind of put him on the list just because he is performing at the Super Bowl this year. So how can you not put him up for why is a guy who doesn't have album of the year not performing at the Super Bowl?
No, but I also think that he's in that category where there's certain people that no matter what they put out, they're going to get nominated. There's like Taylor Swift is in that list. Billie Eilish is in that list.
Sorry, no,
Beyonce is in that list. Jay-Z, Kendrick. There's certain people, they put out songs. It doesn't matter how good or how bad, people will nominate them.
Kendrick is record of the year. Album of the year is Andre 3000. Also, the album of the year. I think Sabrina Carpenter had a hell of a year. Does she win?
Okay.
Does she beat?
So listen to this.
Taylor? No. What?
No, I don't think Sabrina's not going to win a record of the year, album of the year. She will win, I think, Best New Artist. Definitely. I think she is in the category of Best New Artist, but she's in there with Chappell, Roan, and Shabuzi and Teddy Swims. Think about that competition. And Benson
Boone.
Like,
and
that
Ray.
is some major new artist competition. I don't think it's rare for someone to pop off as big as they have. Like, I remember when Billie did it, it was like, holy shit, this girl came out of nowhere and she is just destroying. But all of them had an insane year. How do you choose the number one out of all of those people?
I think Shabuzi. Actually, Shabuzi has a new song coming out called "Good News." He's been promoting on his TikTok actually as of recent, and the song is really good. I think the song would prove that he's not a one-hit wonder. With that said, he didn't really do his own. I say that he was opening up on tour. He wasn't headlining his own tour. Now you can say the same thing about Sabrina Carpenter. She wasn't. But Sabrina has the Taylor Swift team behind her.
She's got branding.
She's got brand. Exactly. She's got branding behind her. She did headline some shows. So like she had a phenomenal year. I think it's really Sabrina Carpenter by far. Teddy Swims, obviously fantastic. Benson Boone, really good starter. These are people that are going to see for a long time. However, it was Sabrina Carpenter's year.
Tasha, who you give it to?
I think the pick will be Sabrina. But I think Chappell's more than earned it.
Chappell made news again, Dax, this week. She fired her management
again?
No.
Oh, God.
She was. She fired her management company. She got a new management, which is
that didn't happen though, did it? That hasn't happened recently.
Yeah, I mean,
we really struggle with her. We struggle with her because she is so talented, but her personality is such a turnoff half the time that it like struggles to like her.
At the moment, she doesn't have a filter. She's just saying, like, she's connecting as kind of like as I would on social media as a content creator almost. So like you tell your like community everything, you're very honest with them. But I think she'll learn as a big star that she can't really be that intimate with everyone.
Yeah.
I think there's got to be some mystery. And
which is funny because we say how much we love that Cardi B has no filter. So why is it that we love Cardi B's zero filter, but Chappell Roan, her filter can be off-putting?
Well, I think Cardi B has a charm to her filter, though, Dax. You know, like she's funny and she's fun. Chappell comes off very angry, and I don't think
there you
want to look at someone who's entitled. Well, I wouldn't say entitled, but someone who's got the world at their hand and also be angry. It's like if you only realize the moment you have right now, don't be angry in the situation.
I think she's also really young. She is also so young, and there's just so much scrutiny for a girl in her position.
So let me ask you guys, though, this. You know, Beyonce, country album this year, she does have one of the songs of the year for Texas Hold'em, which I think could definitely be on that list. However, she's also on the list for album of the year with Cowboy Carter. From that album, as far as I know, Dax, we only heard that one song, Texas Hold'em. Do you think the Grammys had to put Beyonce on the list for album of the year because there's no way Beyonce could make an album and not be considered album of the year?
I think so. I also, don't get me wrong, I think that she put out an amazing album, but I also think that they were like, we need to give this to her because the CMAs, totally screwed her over. So let's give her a bunch of awards.
That's crazy. That's crazy. She doesn't win a
but I also
CMA, but she wins a Grammy. She gets nominated for a Grammy. That's insane.
I think that Beyonce, no, she's got the blessed factor. So no matter what she puts out, the Grammys are going to bless her. That is just how it works. And I feel the same way for Billie Eilish. She amazing artist, but it doesn't matter what she puts out. The Grammys are going to shower her with respect. That's just what they do. So I'm not surprised at all to see her name all over it.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be album of the year. It's going to be a really interesting one. I don't even know who to pick for that one because you have Beyonce, Billie Eilish, Sabrina Carpenter, Taylor Swift. The Grammys are going to be fun this year. I think they haven't been fun as of recent.
So much talent there. Yeah. I think you're going to see Taylor, you're going to see Chappell, you're going to see Billy, you're going to see all of them performing, which is going to be one hell of a concert to be watching. All these people. Speaking, did you guys see Rita Ora kind of breaking down at the MTV European Music Awards on Sunday? Oh, that was sad. So she worked a lot with Liam Payne. They had a song together and they chose her to go out and lead into kind of his like in memoriam. And she's up there talking and you can just see her heart breaking as she's like trying to get through it. Everyone's cheering her on and she's just choking up. And right at the moment where she like leads to it, you can see like her voice is quivering. Really sad moment. I didn't realize how close they were.
No, I didn't actually. Like, I had never really heard them being super close, but she definitely seemed affected by it.
Yeah, I mean, someone had to kind of break down at that award show regarding Liam. I'm surprised. I mean, I don't think the other guys of One Direction are ready to do it. She had a relationship with him. Do we know if that relationship was personal?
I think it's just a working relationship. I think they were good friends. The more like once I heard that she was like going to be speaking, I dove into it, and apparently they were pretty tight. So that wasn't like fake feelings up there or anything like that. Like they were pretty tight and they had a working relationship. They knew each other very well. She respected him a lot. And you could see that coming through during her speech out there. There was some more information breaking that we need to talk about with Liam Payne. So one of the alleged drug dealer in this case in Argentina is now speaking out for the first time. Page 6 did a whole story about this guy. He's a waiter and he's accused of supplying all these drugs to Liam Payne. He's now spoken out after his death. The guy's name is Brainian Paez, I believe is how you say his name. He's been identified by Argentinian police in this ongoing investigation. And he is insisting that there was no wrongdoing on his part in the death of Liam Payne. And so he did admit to having 2 meetings with Liam before Liam plunged to his death off that balcony. He says that he admitted taking drugs with Payne at the Casa del Sur Palermo hotel, but insisted he never supplied the singer with narcotics or received any money from him. So he did like an interview with a local news outlet on Saturday, which I think is fucking wild. You are in the crosshairs of an investigation and you decide to speak to local news. What the fuck is wrong with you? He said, we took drugs together, but I never took drugs. I never took him drugs or accepted any money. He said, I have messages where he's offering me money because he was apparently used to offering money for everything, but I never accepted anything. And he said that I guess the pair arranged to meet up after initial encounter about 2 weeks prior to the death. He said, I never supplied him with drugs. He first connected with me at my workplace because he was a waiter. We swapped details and saw each other later that night. It was all normal. He came down from his hotel room to fetch me and bring me up because I got lost. He said the pair got together at his hotel room, showed me some of his music he was going to bring out. I've heard people saying that he was taking drugs, but the truth was that he got to the restaurant where I was working. He was already under the influence of drugs and he never actually ate anything. Keep in mind, this is all alleged. This is what this guy is saying. He said there was a moment when he approached me and we asked for my contact details. I gave them to him. And afterwards, he sent me messages because he wanted to take drugs, although he had already consumed narcotics. He said it was October 2nd. While I was at his room, we had some whiskey shots. Our second hotel meeting was on the night of October 13th. We spent the night together. We consumed drugs because the truth is, and here's where the guy lost me. Something intimate happened, quote unquote, according to this guy. What
does that mean?
Why would you like come the fuck on? So like this went from an investigation to now I'm going to say some ridiculous shit to like out the guy. Like why would you do that?
Yeah, that was it. The whole thing is
Like,
weird. I don't.
That doesn't
like
that doesn't sound like there's nothing that even has ever been suggested that he's bi or gay.
Nothing. But I also think like you're talking about a drug deal, and now you're gonna be like, oh yeah, I hooked up with the dude. Like it's just so fucked up, in my opinion. Like if you want to clear your name because you don't want to make sure no one knows you sold him drugs is one thing, but then to accuse him of having some kind of relationship with you and he has no way to defend himself and you're just tarnishing his name at this point is kind of messed up. Like the dude had a girlfriend, he's got a child. Like it just to me was fucked up.
Yeah, it's just not the right time either. I talk about PR training, or this guy just might be off his rocker as well, Dax. It's like we don't know. This guy could still be under the substance because I mean, is this guy hallucinating right now?
He went on to say that when he left, Liam gave him some clothes because he didn't have any, and with some gray jogging bottoms and a t-shirt. Like again, so what? You had no clothes when you showed up? Like none of this makes any sense. Anyway, so I think that this guy is obviously probably very scared at the moment. He is in the middle of this investigation. There's text messages back and forth about drugs with Liam. But that seemed like all of this seems like poor choices on that guy's part.
Yeah, for sure. Tasha, what are your thoughts of this situation? Are you happy that this comes to a closure or what?
I think it's a really difficult one because everybody's responsible for what they do. Like you're responsible for what you put in your body unless somebody slips you something. But because he's a celebrity and because there's so many eyes on it, I feel like they're putting a prosecution where they wouldn't normally bother. Because when do we ever hear about people who supplied, somebody who's a drug addict with that going on trial? You don't really it's not like they would normally think is like in the public's interest. But I think because there's so many eyes on it, everybody feels like there's got to be some kind of justice for this young guy. They put him in the room. I do think his celebrity status hurt him here. Because if he had been like one of us, and you're there screaming and shouting in the lobby, you're off your face, the cops would have been called. You would have been removed. And I think because he's a celebrity, they were just like, let's just put it behind a door really, really quick. And it kind of put him at risk.
What is the news media? How's the news media over there? Because obviously Liam's from the UK. Is it a pretty big story over there? I know his body was flown back to the UK a couple days ago. What's it like?
It isn't. Like, I mean, it was when it happened. It was on, they all reported on it. But it's not like it's not a major feature, really. I think in the UK, they'll use it when updates come. Mm-hmm. But there isn't like a massive interest in it in that way. I mean, I think everybody just wants closure. The One Direction fans care a lot.
So you keep saying they don't care. They don't care about the royals. What does the UK care about then? What are they into?
They care about celebrities and everything, but I think Liam Payne he wasn't really in the press that much anymore. He wasn't like Harry Styles. Like they'll obsess over him like anywhere he goes. But Liam, I feel like his whole career had kind of fizzled out a bit, and he wasn't really like a main feature in the tabloids and everything.
I feel like he wasn't covered all the time here, but his death has taken over the news cycles. But I feel like that with a lot of people, even, I think back to Michael Jackson and stuff, it wasn't like he was covered every day, but the second he passed away, he became the only headline that you saw for 2 months straight. And I think that same with Liam, there's such a fascination into what exactly happened, all the, conspiracy theories behind his death and people wanting to know more details. So even though he wasn't maybe covered all the time, he is now being covered nonstop.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, let's move on to give us some. I want to get into this game that we have with you, Tasha. Give us some details on a celebrity couple, and we want to guess who you're talking about based on your salacious information.
Okay. Oh,
And the audience can obviously listen in and see who, and they can guess it, and as they're listening as well.
Okay, so let's go with an old school guy. He's been around since the 80s, probably all three of our childhoods, right? Actor in Hollywood. He's on his second marriage. His first marriage ended in a really messy divorce that cost him about 80 million. She's younger than him by about 19 years. And they were married for just under 2 decades, I think. And he says he was blindsided by a divorce. She says that he cheated. And now there's rumors that he allegedly could have got somebody pregnant on set, but nobody knows who that is, so that could be just gossip. Their divorce took about 4 months to go through, but we don't know the actual amount. That's been kept hidden, and he is now rumored to be with a younger singer, but they say they're just friends.
Dax, are you ready for this? All right.
Yeah.
I got mine ready.
You know who it is?
You know who it is? I do. I'm guessing, but I don't know. I'm going with Kevin Costner.
Yes.
Oh! You know what's funny? I did not even come to mind. For some reason, in my mind, he was married to Christine. That was his first marriage, but that was his second marriage?
Oh, the first one was messy.
Yeah, that was not his first marriage. I remember
that threw me off. I was thinking, who the hell is on there now? Second divorce. Okay.
There's so many of them.
I'm usually not good at this, but originally when you started talking, I was like, is this Sylvester Stallone maybe? But then I kind of went with Kevin Costner. But yeah, I felt good.
Good job, Adam.
What were you going to say, Dax? Did you have a guess?
I had no idea. There was some things in there that threw me off, and I feel like I'm normally good with the guessing games. This one threw me off totally. Okay.
His first marriage isn't spoken about though. Nobody talks about the first marriage because it was so long ago.
Interesting. All right, let's go with another one.
Okay, so a TV actress, a Latina, who's got a grown son. She meets and marries another TV star. And she tells the whole world she doesn't want kids. Like, she does not want kids. And after 10 years of marriage, he blindsides her with divorce. He'll then have the press, allegedly, say that she's crazy, she's out all night drinking, she's out of control, she promised me babies, and now she's not giving me one. So they divorced.
I know. I got this one.
It's going to be Meg.
Adam, do you know who it is?
I actually don't have a guess.
I know who it is. It's Sofia Vergara and Joe Manganiello.
Yeah, definitely.
And the craziest one, what I'm thinking of, is that she had her eggs like frozen for a long time, and that was part of the a big messy part of their divorce was that she had like eggs, fertilized eggs or something like that, and she wanted to basically destroy them. He wanted to still have the babies. Like, it was a whole messy thing. But right, you know where I got it? The grown son. I was like, I know who that is.
To be fair, she's been so like blatant about the fact that she doesn't want more kids. Like,
yeah, she was very, very upfront with no more children. She was like, I've had one kid, and I don't want to do that again.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to make himself look better because, you know, within a couple months of the divorce, he was already living with the new girlfriend. So.
Yeah, exactly. All right, that was fun. Next one.
You'll definitely get this one. Okay, so an Aussie actor.
Right? Hugh Jackman.
Here we go.
What were you going to say? Yeah.
Sorry, he's the only Aussie. It was like him or Chris, whatever his name,
Hemsworth, no.
Okay,
we've still got Hemsworth. We've still got Hemsworth in a decent marriage.
No, I actually want to know, what are your thoughts on Hugh Jackman? Because he went through this gnarly divorce. with this woman that he like praised for so long and was like, oh, I don't see her for her age. I'm so in love with her. And then they end up getting a divorce. I am dying to know what your thoughts are on Hugh Jackman. And there's so many gay rumors that constantly circle around him. So please fill me in.
Everybody, anytime I speak about a guy in a scandalous marriage, relationship, anything, my DMs will be full with, oh, but don't you know he's gay? They think everybody, there's, I don't know, it always seems to be like a backslide, especially if you're not like a super masculine guy. I think everybody assumes that you're probably gay. But you've got the rumors of the alleged cheating with Sutton Foster. And now what, 6 months later, he's been seen on dates with her, and there's all this talk that he's with her, and Deborah's silent.
You haven't seen her.
NDA
She used to be out. Yeah, you haven't seen her at all. I'm surprised she hasn't spoken. Hugh Jackman apparently has a book coming out. I've heard the Sutton Foster rumors for a good amount of time now. I am surprised that there's no outlet, media site, photographers that have just been working Hugh Jackman for a week just to get those first photos of them together. I mean,
but is he that big of a draw, you think? Like, do you think people care that much?
Oh, they care.
I think they care.
Yeah?
I think you want to know that what's going on here, what the truth is, if he's moved on, what he's into as far as men or women. So I think people just want a little bit of closure to this story. So I'm surprised more photographers. If I was a photographer, I'd try to work that story for like a week and just kind of, and I say that like this is just what they do, but you need to kind of be a PI and sit outside his house and see where he goes and what he does. I mean, how's Hugh Jackman never seen at dinner with her? That's the part that baffles me. How is there not one cell phone photo of them going to dinner or being seen, unless they're just having their own private chef and just doing stuff? But it's very odd to me.
You don't see much of him at all, though. Like the odd Ryan Reynolds picture of them like crossing the road. Like,
but you know what? Years ago, yes. Years ago, you would see Hugh Jackman all the time. Bike riding, running. Like, he would be out exercising all the time, and he would, like, wave at cameras, smile, talk. So in the last couple of years, it, like, switched, and he became very reclusive, and you didn't see him anymore out in public, and I don't know why. But do you remember how, like, in love he was with Deborah? Like, it was a whole thing because people would say, wow, it seems so strange that him and this woman have been together for so long, but like their age difference, and she looked like much older than him. Like people used to comment on it all the time, and he was like, nope, I don't care about the age difference. I love her, I love her, I love her. What happened?
Literally
where did that love go?
Weeks before the divorce, he was saying that.
Yeah.
Like,
I think he's saving it, all the comments, until he does the book comes out. Because why speak now before the book comes out? He needs to bring traffic to the book. So I think he's just waiting, and it's strategic of waiting.
I don't think we're going to hear anything new, though. I think you're just going to hear the same line of that. He and Deborah grew apart. They split.
I'm sure that,
I don't think he's going to admit anything in there.
Yeah.
You're not going to hear it from him. He's not going to be like, anything too crazy. I think she's probably going to walk away with a massive payday. Massive, because she was the famous one when they first started dating. You gotta remember.
In Australia,
Yeah, she was crazy famous back then. And he like swept her off her feet. And then he became one of the biggest movie stars on the planet with all the Wolverine movies and everything that he's done. And so that divorce is probably going to be splitting up a lot of money, a lot of real estate, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and right now she's staying quiet for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Do you have one more of these little? What do you call these? These?
Well, it's kind of like a blind item, but it's a guessing blind item.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. We'll go over another one. Okay. American guy, a boy band, out of a boy band, and a British actress. You'll definitely be able to get this one. Who get married and they have kids. He says she got blindsided by him, and he was tricking the media by wearing his wedding ring, but he'd already gone and filed for a divorce. And then he labeled her as being out all night again, drunk, crazy partier. And she wants to take her kids off to England. And he wants to keep them exactly where they are.
I mean,
this
Joe Jonas.
Yeah, Joe.
Yeah.
Joe. It was
Joe,
funny.
yeah.
It started off being, I thought, oh, is this Justin Timberlake? And I was like, nope.
Listen, so many of them have an exact similar line of attack, which is kind of, she's crazy, she's drunk. That's why I'm divorcing her. That seems to be the go-to.
So, Tasha, tell us about your TikTok page. It's called Tish Talking, TISHTOKING. It's been blowing up. You got over 350,000 followers on there. You're talking all about, couples and relationships and pop culture news. What is it that's resonating with people to get your follower count growing and growing and growing?
I think what people like is that there's loads of pop culture that isn't which is mainly done from kind of a male lens. Like if you look at the media outlets, they're not really run by women. And with Sophia and Joe when they split, and the same story comes out again about she's out, she's partying, and we kind of talk about pop culture through a female lens, and kind of noting the tactic, and also a lot of PR and just the way PR works, and people are really interested in analyzing it all because they don't really believe what they get told in the media.
Do you think it's growing just because you got a dope accent?
I think that definitely helps. Although we don't consider this dope. I'd much rather have my content laid out to me in a Southern accent in the States. But I think Americans definitely like the English accent.
We love the accent. Adam, I don't know about you, but I love the accent. Whenever I do live shots with a big UK brand or whatever, I feel like such an idiot because I'm the one with this okay guys, let's do this. And they all sound so professional. I've done the BBC a couple times and I'm always just oh God, I sound like such an idiot right now because they sound so good with their accents.
But the BBC is particularly posh and kind of stuffy,
I know, but I like the accents. I'm it's like someone who puts on glasses. They look smarter. With an accent, you sound smarter.
Yeah, it's when someone has that sort of accent, you're sort of hang on their words a little bit more. You're waiting for something oh, they're going to educate me, and then you realize they don't. But at least I was interested. So that's what. But Tasha, thank you for hanging out with us today. Make sure you guys give her a big follow on TikTok. Make sure you check out our private Facebook group called Off the Record. It's a really fun community where you guys talk to us. We talk to you. We call it all intertwined together. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We're on it all. Follow me at Adam Glyn. Follow Dax Holt at Dax Holt. We'll see you guys on Friday. Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.
What's up, guys? If you like that video, there's plenty more where that came from.
Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell so we can just feed you all the goodness daily.
Hurry up. Come on, let's go.